Hey everyone, just wanted to see who was here. I figured I'd do a quick live stream. If anybody had any questions about stuff that's going on, kind of go from there. What's going on, Grizzly? Alright, I figured I'd do a little bit of Mad Max. We'll start a new game here. For those that actually haven't seen the game yet, the game's actually pretty fun. Can everybody hear me okay? Hey, Preschool Fight Club. Nice. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. Hey, Buddha, how you doing tonight? I figure I'll start the game out, like right from the beginning. Yeah, this game's a lot of fun. What's going on, guys? Pardon me. I just figured we're gonna watch the intro movie for Mad Max. Once this is done and I get going on the game, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, I'm happy to take them. Nah, there's no potatoes tonight. Tonight's a potato-free night. Yeah, the audio's low. I can turn it up if you want. Hold on. I'm gonna pause it there and we'll crank it up a little bit. Yeah, I'll talk to it after the opening movie here, which is just about done now. Yeah, chainsaw to the skull. No shit. They're not fucking around. Yeah, it's a great intro movie. That's why I figured that if I was going to play this game, I would actually play the full intro movie so people can see it. No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. Yeah, exactly, Plumber. All right, let me turn up this volume a little bit so you guys can see it. Let's see here. We'll turn up the audio for people can hear it a little better. I don't want to get it too loud because I want to make sure that people can hear me while we're talking as well. As far as self-actualization is concerned, I know somebody asked a question about that. I mean, really, it's just about finding things to live for rather than things to live against, if that makes sense. I think that's the most important thing you can do, is just, keep yourself busy, find things to strive for, things to work with. I think those things are extremely important. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the growing Spanish community, I've seen it, but I haven't seen a lot of it because I haven't focused on it. Jesus Christ, here we go. Hey, doing good, Venom Eagle. How are you? So I figured with everything that's been going on recently, I figured people might actually have some questions and things like that. So I figured I'd try to make myself available to kind of say hi to everybody. And if you have any questions, that we can kind of address those things. Oh, no, that's fine. I get it, Plumber. You don't get a chance to troll people very often, so I totally get it. So yeah, if you do have questions, just like normal, caps and brackets, questions in chat, and then go from there. Gives birth, start to blaze by godly plug ignite. Revolution about revolution, rejoice! Please, don't kill some bucket! Please! Hey! Why shouldn't I? Because I know you. Yeah, I spied you in the long lookers. Left you for the blowflies, and they snatched your ride. And now you'll be looking to snatch it back. That's what the prophecy says. Stream just started there, whatever the hell your name is. And then, Real Human Being. As an older guy, how have... let's see, the question is, as an older guy, how have the social dynamics changed over time? Oh, a lot. Absolutely a lot. Like, you can even look at the music. You look at music, you look at society. I mean, they've changed a lot in the last 30 years. It's been absolutely insane. I'd say night and day. No, I won't. I know you'll find me and dismantle me. I know. Chumbucket's not stupid. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah, Grizzly's right. It has gone to shit. Yeah, me too. Dog's bleeding out. Oh, I can fix it, but I do my best work in my sanctum. Push the car. I need wire to fix my buggy. Then I can show you. Pretty much. The black on black. Where do I find wire? Up that path. But before you go, grab some grits, Saint. You must be running on fumes. All right, this is the Brochata question. I saw on Reddit that there was some TFM ran into some drama this week, but I couldn't find any specifics. Yeah, there's been a little bit of drama, but it's not like, I don't know. If you don't know about the drama, it's probably best you don't. My guess is that you probably shouldn't be buying any red pill coins, though. Canned food. Sure beats eating nugget gruel. Question: do you want what action Phil is taking over the BS that happened? Or do I want what action? Or do I know what action's being taken? Why don't you ask that question again, Corva? I mean, honestly, I don't think that, as far as like everything that happened with Phil, I thought what happened to Phil was completely wrong. So, I think that society's fucked, and I think we're on like the slow roll to basically dog shit. So yeah, I mean, I think we're fucked. I think that, you know, as MGTOW, we should be ghosting, and I think that we need to lay low and try to avoid to draw fire from all the rest of the bullshit that's going on. Do me a favor, because I'm trying to play the game at the same time, and I don't have my Q and A thought here. If you have a question, try to put it in caps and brackets so that I can see the question and then go from there. That would be fantastic. I'm trying to watch the chat, but I can't always do that. I have gaming priorities, apparently. Yeah, I agree with Plumber. A little bit of prepping for medication and such as well. No, if you put it in bracket... Oh, yeah, you can do... Oh, I guess did it get moo-botted? All right, let's see. The question from John Vent is, did you see Angry MGTOW's video that Marcus mirrored on his channel for the groundworks and metaphysics of MGTOW? I know that Marcus has mirrored 2 videos for Angry MGTOW. I watched the first half of the second video he did today. All right. All right. Question: DDJ, how much better would the world be if feminism didn't exist or never existed? Honestly, I think it would be a lot better because there would be balance. I mean, there'd be a lot more intact relationships. Hypergamy would be balanced with dominance, and there'd be a lot less drama. Example given. Question: is this game an example of our possible future in your opinion? I don't think it's going to get this bad. But I mean, there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some kind of collapse based on just all the indicators I've seen. However, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have no clue when and if it's going to happen or what form it'll take. Well, you know, Grizzly, it's funny that you mentioned that about the Angry MGTOW thing. It's actually kind of funny because he was so scared of the SEC, he actually admitted that the red pill coin was worthless. He said there's nothing backing it, which means it's not worth anything. Real human being question, Miss Andrew today. Can you tell us a little bit about corporate America? What should we avoid, strive for? Any tips on handling women in the workplace? Yeah, you should go with the Pence protocol. You shouldn't be alone with a woman. You shouldn't be talking with these women. You shouldn't be hanging out with these women if you really don't have to be, and you shouldn't be socializing with them. You know, and if you're dating, don't date anybody from work. I mean, that's really the common sense thing. And I would say basically just kind of keep to yourself and stay in the background as much as you can at work. I mean, that's especially in corporate America, because corporate America is filled with social justice bullshit. So now you know. And anybody who's worked there is pretty much, I mean, they can confirm what I say, especially if you work in tech. This way. All right, Hallaman. Question: if feminism would have never existed, would the collapse still be ongoing? It depends if there was a welfare state. I mean, if the welfare state hadn't taken over so much, then possibly. All right. Okay, next question is from... Hold on, I gotta get in there. Do you know what action... Okay, I know what action that Phil is taking regarding the BS that Miglet caused. Yeah, I haven't specifically spoken with him yet. I do know he's doing stuff. I do know that he has spoken to an attorney. I don't know exactly what is going on, but I think as it's relevant to me, he'll tell people. I do know that Phil from the Dollhouse is going to be on the TFM show on Saturday. So they'll probably be doing a Q and A session there. So maybe, you know, that might be something to look at.
Yes, from that look point, we may be able to spot your car.
All right. Yeah, I think people should be self-removing from the gene pool red human being. Absolutely.
Up there, without risk of detection. Over here! Over! Come look!
I mean, I think the world is pretty much overpopulated in a lot of places right now, as far as like the whole anti-natalism. But I also think that as a father, it's really difficult to keep an intact family. And so, you know, there's a lot of drama, especially with child custody and things like that.
But he's not here now. You see, I don't see the land rover.
I'm getting my car back.
Please. My dear, it's better for you. It's better for me. Listen.
All right. Waper Rave says, or Waper Vave, I should say, says, do you think that MGTOW should keep up with politics and be involved in any way with the political system? You know, I think everybody should go their own way. I mean, there are MGTOW who are MRAs. There are MGTOW who are politically active, you know, in their own thing. If they want to, sure. I don't see a problem with that. Just don't call your political activism MGTOW, you know. It's not. It's political activism. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, absolutely, go for it.
What I'm going to show you, you'll be shouting holy all day long.
It's Sideshow Bob to you, Duck.
Come, State. Yes, I have much to show you.
Who knows? Maybe she might miss it as well. All right, Red Human Being question. When would you say someone ought to self-remove? You mean self-remove from the gene pool? Oh, you're talking about committing suicide? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about breeding? I guess that's my question. I thought you were talking about breeding. If you're talking about suicide, yeah, I don't know. That's up to them, I guess. The problem with suicide, though, is that people usually, when they go to commit suicide, they failed at everything else in life, so they usually fuck that up, too. It is. I would agree with that.
When you're ready, Saint.
All right, question from Hollowman1345. DDJ, I just found out my friend got his wife pregnant, and they've only been married for a year. Putting aside about how bad the laws are for men, is that good enough time to get a child? I mean, I think that if you're going to have a child, you should do it in wedlock, just because there's at least some kind of commitment there. But I think that at the end of the day, you know, the second that you get married, the second that you get asked to be married, or the second that you think you're going to get married, if that's what you want to do, you should be prepared for divorce. And honestly, I don't think in this day and age that anybody should get married without walking into a divorce court and sitting there for, you know, at least 3 hours and watching how divorce court works.
There she is.
This ain't a car. It's just a mess of parts.
No. She's knowledge from the numinous. Divinely inspired. She wills herself upon this world. Look. See, here. Divine meets tri-shaft in a symbiosis of faith. Modded and made to measure. Want some of that old-time religion, huh? I got a classic whammy turbo high dog. Huh? Hell yeah! Bulletproof and torture tested. Statically upgraded with chum bucket overdrive. Coils, springs, shocks.
Question, are there any more MGTOW dojos planned for the future? Yeah, I've actually got 4 videos in the queue ready to go.
We have to get her beautificial body.
Show me where it is.
Thoughts on suicide? When would you say it's acceptable to end it? I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's for me to say. I mean, it's, you know, it's somebody's personal decision if that's what they want to do. I don't weigh in on questions like that because that's a very personal decision for a person to make.
We will liberate her body from a place sad and strange, where the chariots of old went to die. A place I call the graveyard. But we must go in the dead of night, when the buzzard guardians are away on their pine.
Would I ever play Roblox? I've heard of it, but I've never actually played it. Give me a second here. Moobot is asking me to moderate. All right, example given says, DDJ, what are your thoughts on the Black Panther movie and supposed hype it's getting? Honestly, I think the Black Panther movie is long overdue. Black Panther's been a character that's been around for a long time. But I think that with the politics of the social justice warriors, they've like politicized the Black Panther movie way more than it should have been. But that's just me. All right. Fumberduck says, question, what do you think will happen to MGTOW 101? Will Phil sue him, or will he have to go to court to fight the case? You know, I don't know. I legit don't know. I have no idea what Phil's going to do. I mean, personally, if I were MGTOW 101, I would do a video publicly apologizing to me, TFM, and Phil for accusing us of promoting pedophilia. I mean, if you guys have read my book, you'll know that in Chapter 5, there's a whole segment that I dedicate in Chapter 5 to the conversation of what false allegations do to people and how bad they are. I mean, what he did was absolutely unacceptable. And, you know, you guys understand that, you know, feminism is my bugaboo, as is the whole infidelity thing. And this idea that people are going to run around and accusing people of pedophilia is fucking retarded. So, I mean, if MGTOW 101, honestly, if Phil decided to sue him, I think it would probably go a long way if MGTOW 101 apologized, because there are multiple copies of that video out there. And, you know, I'm sure that, you know, there could be issues there. All right. Let me see if I can grab another question here. Question for Halaman. DDJ, may I ask you if I may ask, you said you red pill your children. Why then are you a grandpa? Because my children had kids. That's how grandpa works. Next question. Let's see. Give me a second here. Trill Bosun, question. Is it worth to red pill your kids? If so, what's the most beneficial strategy? Honestly, it's just being real with them. You know, really, it's giving them challenges to complete. Like, you know, getting them to be independent as much as possible is a great way to red pill your kids. I think that, you know, giving them those options and empowering your kids early in life, and also giving them a framework and a structure is extremely important. Question for Kite the Dyke. Would you rather only eat Cheetos for the rest of your life, or have to come 10 times a day or die? I don't know. That's a hard question. I like Cheetos. All right. Very important question, though. Real Human Being said, question, Miss Andrew, today. In terms of quality of life, excluding feminism, have things gotten better over time? Well, yeah, of course they have. I mean, technology's made things a lot simpler. So... because I'm not gay, Broccoli. You said it was only to gay people. Moobot even fucking dominated you. You got your message deleted. That's what you get. Plumber speaks with his message deleted. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. That shit was hilarious, actually.
Before the nightly hunters return to their lair. Nobody around. Their gate unguarded. The gasoline, Saint. One blast should split it wide open.
So let's make this one count.
I'm only using it's a 980 GTX. It's my graphics card. Kite the Dyke says, would you rather be able to see into the future or force choke people? I'd rather be able to force choke people.
Exaltations! Just car's open. We must hurry. Wardens of this place murder on sight.
Alright, if I remember correctly, this is a gauntlet, so I'll take any questions after it.
The fiends that tend this catacomb don't like strangers. No! There are dangling man-killers everywhere. Tread careful.
I don't want to get teabagged by the firebomb things.
More traps ahead.
Just like a real car. Alright, let's grab some more questions here. Kite the Dyke. Yeah, force choking people. Alright, next question. Fumber Duck. Graphics card, got that one already. Question, DDJ, did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z? Nope. Next question, Kite the Dyke. Do you still have cable, or do you do Netflix only? I don't have cable.
Get the car in place down.
All right, DDJ. Oh, emulating your dirt track career. That's funny. All right, Real Human Being says, question, how rare are quality relationships, platonic/romantic, and what's the best way to keep them alive? Good question. You know, they always say it's she's not yours, she's just your turn. So just understand that there could be a problem. You know, honestly, I think friendships are probably easier to keep alive than anything else. But again, it's all about mutual benefit. You know, once things quit being beneficial for both of you, that's when the relationship starts to die. As far as the rest of it is concerned, you know, I think the big challenge is just keeping that respect and trust. And again, it's knowing when to dip out. You know, I did a video recently about, you know, about like how people should invest in relationships, and then when the investment stops on their end, you should stop yours as well. But honestly, if I thought that relationships could be kept alive, especially between a male or female, then I wouldn't be MGTOW. That's the long and the short of that. Feminism and gynocentrism destroyed the social contract between men and women. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. My mods got blamed for fucking Moobot dominating them. So that was entertaining. All right, question. Can you talk about a person or a case in which your opinion or actions helped change a negative situation into a positive one, preferably relating to MGTOW? Actually, there was I forget his name, but there was a guy who was, he came on the TFM show, and I gave him my opinions on things, and he went back and he did basically what I said, and it turned out really well. He ended up holding his ex accountable for a bunch of child support crap and everything else. It was pretty entertaining. But yeah, he came back for a follow-up. It felt pretty good. Other than that, I try not to talk about a lot of cases because I have, basically from the time that I was actually doing the paralegal work, I signed a lot of NDAs. All right. Would you rather be in a Thunderdome with 50 cucks or 100 female feminists? Oh, 100 female feminists easily. Because once you fucking put the pimp hand down, they'll all jump in line. All right, let's see which car body I should get. You know what? I think I'm going to get this one. All right, Real Human Being says, question, Miss Andrew, today, what was your rationale after the first marriage? What convinced you to try again? Oh, I was an idiot. I was an absolute idiot. You know, I had a very traditionalistic attitude. So... All right. Let me answer that traditionalism question again. Let me get the fuck out of here first, so. To figure out how the hell I'm getting out of here. You know, I had a very traditionalistic viewpoint. I thought maybe I chose the wrong woman. So I thought I was going to basically take my time and, you know, find the right woman and blah, blah, blah. I did all that, and for a while she was all right, but then she wasn't. So, there, now you know. All right, question. Tribosin, the Cantu Cuck Squad is obsessed with you being a Jewish agent of Illuminati. How much crack are they smoking? Actually, it's kind of funny. I'm thinking about starting a gaming stream. Hold on. I'm thinking about starting a gaming stream called Illuminati Confirmed, where basically I'm playing the Secret World, and there's an option for you to be part of the Illuminati there, so they can be 100% accurate, because heaven forbid that, you know, they're lying about that too, because, you know, apparently the Mexican Jewish Illuminati or some shit's important. All right, let me see something here real quick, hold on. All right, question, Miss Andrew today. Being older and now MGTOW, what do you want out of life? Do you feel like a better human being now that you've come to this stage of your life? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to jump this, I guess. All right. You know, I think really for me, it's, you know, there's been some things that I wanted to do when I was younger that having a relationship prevented me from doing. And I think that that's been a real big challenge for me, is that, you know, I've really wanted to, you know, I really wanted to be an author, and there's other things that I wanted to do when I was younger. But, you know, I got trapped with a kid in both relationships, so it was really difficult for me to do those things. And now that I'm a little bit older, and now that I've got a little bit of freedom that I can do some of the things that I've wanted to do, I definitely am doing a lot of those things now. So, yeah. All right. Next question. Oh, do I feel like a better human being now that I've come to this stage in life? No, I mean, I feel the same way as I did before. I don't feel like it's any better or any worse. But yeah. All right, next question from Kite the Dyke. Question, if God offered you a deal where he gets rid of the female vote, but you have to fap to Futanari hentai and trap hentai twice a day each, would you take the deal? No, I wouldn't. How important is freedom to a man? Is life worth living without sufficient freedom? I think freedom's absolutely important. I mean, I think that's what makes our country probably one of the better countries in the world. Is not necessarily that we have the freedom, is that the idea of freedom is there. I mean, I think there's a possibility for us to actually get... Give me a second here.
Yeah, but the jag tip, it's not here. It's not here at all.
But yeah, I think that the idea that, you know, we should have some aspect of freedom. I think freedom comes with a price. And I think it's a question of, you know, are we willing to pay the price for the freedoms that we have? You know, or the freedoms that we want. Because, I mean, there's a lot of freedom since the Patriot Act has gone through in after 9/11 that we don't have the freedoms that we had prior to that. And, you know, for those guys of you who are a lot younger, I mean, you grew up with the Patriot Act. You grew up with a lot of this stuff, so you don't understand what it was like to live before that time and the long, long ago. So, now you know.
If I inspect the livers, this harpoon will be very useful.
I'm going to do this next little mission here, and then I'm probably going to get... I'm going to check the Bukkake choke slams for redemptions. All right. Question, how much hentai are you willing to fap to per day in exchange for the female vote being taken away? No trap or Futanari hentai, so none. Sorry. All right, Howlman 1345, DDJ, what branch of the military did you think of joining before? When you said on the TFM show you were thinking of joining, I was actually thinking of joining the Army. So, now you know. The TFM stream starts at 7 p.m. on Saturdays, and then the TFM 420 is at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays, and that's Pacific Standard Time.
See those metal monsters? Scrotus war boys, put them up to mark their turf. Bring them down.
Okay. Is freedom more important to men or women? It's more important to men. Women don't care. Women would rather have security. And what causes that dynamic, excluding biology? It is biology that has that dynamic, because women want security. They don't necessarily want freedom. They want to make sure that everything that they have everything they need in order to raise a child. I mean, biology drives the whole differences between men and women in almost every case, with the exception of feminism, which is, you know, women on full retard.
Another vulgar monument to the car dividers. Tear it down.
Why do countries adopt feminism? Is because they're getting foreign aid to do so. So a lot of countries wouldn't actually have adopted feminism if they weren't getting foreign aid to do so. The United States actually gives foreign aid to people who adopt feminism. And then you have a lot of the NGOs that promote feminism as well. We export feminism around the world. Question, are you going to translate your book into another language since feminism is spreading everywhere? You know, I had considered it, but I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to. I mean, English is the most commonly spoken language in the world, and just about everybody speaks it. And most people outside the United States, they speak 2 languages. So,
At our mercy.
No, scout it out.
Oh, yes. To see if they've nasty surprises and wait for the righteous.
how do women self-actualize? Do they seek self-actualization? No, they don't. I mean, I don't know of a single woman who has tried to seek self-actualization or trying to deal with this shit otherwise. I mean, dealing with, pardon me, I'm fucking with this car here. Yeah, I don't know of a single woman that tries to self-actualize at all. And no, I don't believe they seek it. I think that women seek their biological imperative. That's why the cock carousel is a thing.
Let's see.
I don't know. I suppose if you made me a millionaire, maybe I would consider it.
Gates defended. Sniper out front. War crier. That's all.
What's your spies, Snake?
Camp is light defenses. I'll deal with them before entering.
Yes. Nothing our sweet magnum opus cannot handle.
Maybe I shouldn't hit these rocks. What do you think? Question, why would the U.S. give money to countries to adopt feminism? What does the U.S. get in return? It's a waste of money, in your opinion. Yeah, it is a waste of money. It's retarded.
This got clear. Now the gate. The tank is feeding the flamethrower.
We'll rip it off! Harpoon awaiting your command! And we win again!
Yeah, I don't know why the U.S. gives gives money to countries for feminism, but they do. It's retarded. When you worked as a paralegal, did you get pleasure from your work, or would you come home after a workday feeling like shit and wore out? Sometimes I'd feel pleasure, but sometimes I'd feel worn out. So, all right. Question. As far as you know, does any court have any oversight into how custodial parents are spending child support? Seems like a no-brainer. They're actually starting to. There's been a lot of frustration with it, so it's been a serious issue. So yeah, like they're doing like the cards, like the ATM cards they're giving them for child support. They're basically making them so that they can't use them outside the state, for example. That's one example of how they're doing it. And yeah, it does seem like a no-brainer. But I think the issue is that child support is meant for welfare for women. It's not meant for the children, which is why everybody gets charged so much. Real Human says, does women not seeking self-actualization concern you? What does it say about their worth as human beings? I don't really think it says anything about their worth as human beings, and no, it really doesn't concern me because women and men are biologically wired differently. I'm not worried about women beyond unrestrained hypergamy. You know, I mean, the laws have made it so that a woman's hypergamy is completely unrestrained and she can do whatever she wants, but male dominance is restricted and made illegal and criminalized. So, you know, that's my concern. And I think that once that balance is restored, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Kite to Dyke, look at you. How about neither? White Knights are an issue, but that's why we ghost. I mean, at least now, you know. It saves you a lot of drama.
Will I ever come back?
You're talking about Big John with the CNN interview? Yeah, he did it on January 26th. He's doing the Society for the Rights of Men, or I forget what the name of it is. It's going to be amusing to see how they spin it. All right, next question. Real Human about self-actualization again. Does the discrepancy in wanting to self-actualize explain why men typically push humanity forward more often? I don't know. I mean, I suppose that probably has something to do with it. I think it's just that, you know, men like to create things, you know, and so, you know, yeah, when you're self-actualized and when you master an art or a trade or a craft, you absolutely want to do something better with it. So, let's see if I can grab this knife. Guess not. I'll wait. Alright, let's see what next question here. B. Boone, if you could start over, what career do you think would interest you after knowing what you know now, other than writing? Honestly, if I started over, it has nothing to do with career. It has to do with the life choices around that career. I already had a pretty reasonable career path, and I probably would have stayed with something similar. I actually was a paralegal very reluctantly. I became a paralegal to protect my kids. Like, I wouldn't have gone in the legal field otherwise. But I think that I would have stayed away from women. I would have definitely not gotten a woman pregnant. I definitely wouldn't have committed to any woman. And I would have focused on myself, and I would have focused on my well-being. So it wouldn't necessarily have been the educational decisions as much as it would have been the rest of it, if that makes sense. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and switch over real quick and pause the game and take a look at Streamlabs and see what we got. Oh, we don't have any redemption, so that's good. Alright. Question. I hope you don't mind us picking your brain this much tonight. How about an easy one? What do you think the TFM show needs to do better? No, I don't mind. The reason I'm doing the stream tonight, so people understand, is so that people can actually ask me questions directly. I figured with the recent drama and everything that was going on, people might actually have some questions, or they might have wanted to get my positions or viewpoints on things. So I wanted to make myself available to do that. And I do these gaming streams occasionally so that I do have an opportunity to kind of interact with people, and they can ask my opinions on things, and I can address those things directly. And then sometimes I actually even upload these to YouTube. So I'll probably upload this one. As far as what do I think the TFM show could do better, I really don't know. I mean, it's not my show. I think it's a good show as it is. I think it's the only show that does what it does as well as it does. I notice that there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that are more into the drama. And like if you have a guest on, for example, they'll, if the guest doesn't go well, or if the host is out of their league, they'll bring in somebody else to try to quote unquote put the guest in their place and that kind of thing. I think that's unethical, and I think it's tacky. And I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's not good. So I like the fact that Kat screens the guests. He does a really good job of it. As far as, how good you can be on the internet, when everybody kind of flips you shit and lies to get on the show. So yeah, I think the show is good. I don't have any criticisms of the show. I will say this, though. I think sometimes with my schedule now, sometimes the show does get long, so anything beyond 5 hours can be kind of an issue. No, I'm not reluctantly straight, Kite the Dyke, but thank you for asking. All right, next question, Halaman1345. DDJ, if a woman doesn't want alimony or child support, do they still have to receive it? Yes. It's not her decision. The court will order it no matter what. And if they find out that she's not getting it, then they will create it. That'll create an issue. All right. Question from Corva Redro. Question: what do you think of the calling? What do you think of the calling of the? Calling White Knights Don Quixote instead. I think White Knights works. I mean, Don Quixote obviously was insane. I think some of the White Knights deal that. I think the problem with the White Knights is that a lot of these guys don't have any real life experience, and they don't understand the reality of women for all intents and purposes. And because they don't, it ends up being more of a problem than a solution. And they get themselves in situations that they can't get out of. Besides, White Knights is more offensive. In case you guys missed it, I kind of have an affinity occasionally to being offensive. All right, next question is Real Human, Miss Andrew today. What about homosexuals? Do you feel like they have the best relationship dynamics because of similar sex drive? Do they effectively avoid the fallout of feminism? Here's the thing. It's actually kind of funny. You get all these homophobes that talk about oh, I'm a real man, blah blah blah, and then you get them talking about 300, and they don't understand that the Romans were gay to a man in their military. So I think that as far as the homosexual thing is concerned, they go through more relationships than heterosexual couples do, and they are notorious for high levels of promiscuity. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But the odds of a homosexual man, if you're gay, the odds of a homosexual man trying to divorce rape you or trying to falsely accuse you of DV is pretty minimal. So for those people that like dick out there you go. But if you don't, then it is what it is. Oh, that didn't work out too well. All right, question from Halaman1345. Why do the family court feel obligated to keep women in the same lifestyle when married to a wealthy man? Do they see the threat to women if they don't receive it? No, it's because fucking family courts are run by feminists, and their goal is to discriminate against men. And I think that the big challenge is that, you know, staying out of the family court. But I mean, the more money you have, the more you're going to get discriminated against by these women in the family court. You know, the feminist controlled family. The feminism was never about equality, first and foremost. It was always about supremacy, and it was always about, you know, trying to discriminate against men and demonizing men in the trade. And it's fucking ridiculous because, like, if you look at 1960, for example, the rate of sexual assault compared to like 1970 and 1980, the rate of sexual assault in 1980 compared to 1960, which is prior second wave feminism, went up by like 400%. It was absolutely ridiculous. And they're like, "Oh, we're trying to fucking fix the situation. We're trying to help the situation out." Well, you know what? Guess what? Feminists took control of society in second wave feminism, and you know, they increased sexual assault rather than decrease it. So it's fucking retarded. And the family courts are no better. They've been discriminating against people for a long time. Well, one of the reasons that you guys understand, one of the reasons that they do this is because they don't want women to go on welfare. So that's why they have alimony and child support, is to prevent women from receiving welfare, because they don't want the state to pay for them. Thoughts on promiscuity in general? This is from Real Human Being. How toxic do you think it is to meaningful relationships? I think that promiscuity is actually fatal to meaningful relationships, at least when it comes to women on men. I mean, they've done studies and they found that women cannot pair bond after having a certain number of relationships. But I mean, for me, relationships are not built on sexuality as much as they're built on trust. And this is any kind of relationship that you have. Whether that relationship is going to be a business relationship or a personal relationship, it doesn't matter what it is. If you can't trust the person that's there with you, then you really don't have a relationship. So, you know, promiscuity by itself, if you're not in a committed relationship, I mean, I don't necessarily see a problem with it if you're a man, because men can still pair bond after being promiscuous, but a female can't. So it ends up being a problem for them. And, you know, that's just biology. So, I mean, I didn't create this. That's just the reality. Halaman1345, DDJ. Can a woman accuse you of rape without you having sex with her? Yes, it actually happens all the time. I think that people... I mean, there was a woman in the UK who... Give me a second here. Yeah, there was a woman who was I think she was an actress, and she had basically said that this guy had sexually assaulted her in a oh god, what, like they call it the tube, but it's like the subway in UK, and he like walked by her, and the cameras show that the guy never touched her. He was never near her. He never did anything with her, and he ended up having to go to trial, and they acquitted him at trial. But the only reason he got acquitted at trial is because they had the video footage, but the police held it back. And so, you know, this kind of discrimination happens all the time.
Lie low here.
I don't know. It's a couple seconds. It's not too long. It's the cooldown in chat is long enough so people don't spam. And it's also so I can see questions. What's going on, guys? I'm just kind of hanging out, just doing a quick, for those people that have just shown up, I'm just doing a quick Q and A stream, just kind of hanging out. If people had questions about stuff, those types of things, I just want to make myself available for that. So now you know. All right, Avenge 900, DDJ. What is it that SJW and feminism now believe there is no difference between a man and a woman, when there is clearly physical and biological differences between the two? You know what? They're retarded. I mean, the reality is they're retarded, and they're consciously retarded. You have to understand that, I mean, if you know anything about history, and if you don't, you should learn. You should be looking for, you know, the video from Yuri Bezmenov from 1984. He did an interview with the Cato Institute. Yuri Bezmenov was a chief propagandist with the KGB back during the Cold War, and he... basically was talking about the ideological subversion of society. I put a link to that interview in one of my videos about the Duluth model, and I talk about the feminist ideological subversion. And the point is the reason that they're trying to pretend that there's no difference between men and women is because they're trying to culturally indoctrinate people into believing shit that's absolute bullshit. And if you allow them to culturally indoctrinate you at a certain level, what ends up happening is that you end up basically losing your ability to critically think and losing your ability to problem solve. So you have no ability to figure out problems or things. That's why if you look at like social justice warriors, when shit happens to them, they don't know what the fuck to do. They just and then they go from there. And it doesn't matter if they're social justice warriors on the left or the right. They have no ability to solve problems, and their emotional ability to solve problems is almost non-existent. So yeah, I mean, it's not that they actually believe their own bullshit. It's all about power and indoctrination.
I do this alone.
Oh, never mind, old chum bucket.
All right. Next question is Hallowman 1345 DDJ. Why do they have so much discrimination against men? Well, they have to. I mean, women can't compete against men, so they have to discriminate in order to pretend they're leveling the playing field when they're not. All they're doing is benefiting women at the expense of men. That's not equality. Do I like UFC? You know, I like mixed martial arts. I believe that there are advantages for things like UFC because a lot of fights in real life end up on the ground. And I believe that when it comes to martial arts, you should be able to compete in all three combat arenas. And what I mean by that is you should be able to strike, you should know joint manipulation, and you should have some ground game of some kind. Just in case you got to protect yourself. Because that allows, if people come in to grapple you while you're standing up, it gives you some places to go. If you're on the ground, you've got some places to go. If you have some strikes, you have some places to go. I think in certain situations, you know, it's like a toolbox, right? If you're a mechanic, it's just you want to have the right tool for the job. So having some basic skills in all three arenas is extremely helpful. TF Monkey, how is the Jewish-Mexican takeover thing going? You know, it's actually pretty good, but we're trying to figure out how to make the Jewish taquerias. That's really the big challenge because, you know, we're trying to do the Jewish roach coach thing, and that's not going so well. So it's just, I don't know. It's an issue. All right. Example given. Question DDJ, do you think there was ever a time the term SJW stood for a good thing? Or is it just like feminism in that it was never a good and it just tried to pretend to be? I think it was always bullshit. So you guys understand, the term social justice warrior was, I don't know when it was coined, but I know that Yuri Bezmenov used the term social justice in '84. But social justice warriors are pretty much intersectional feminists, and so they have this whole basically it's like a communist Marxist power situation. They actually believe, for example, to give you an example of how retarded they are, they actually believe that if you're an oppressed party and you actually do the thing to your oppressor or to what your perceived oppressor is, you do the thing that they are accusing themselves of being victimized by, that they didn't commit that crime. So let me give you an example. So if black people discriminate against white people and you're a social justice warrior, that's not discrimination because the white people are supposedly in power, and so black people, that's like their free pass to discriminate against them. It's completely fucking retarded and it's totally hypocritical. Racism is racism, discrimination is discrimination regardless of who does it. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I'll upload it, Oslo, that's no problem. I mean, it's kind of a shit show and I'm just kind of rambling around, so it is what it is. Preschool Fight Club. At what point do you think men became too chucked by women? So, and he said chucked, not cucked. I'm assuming cucked, so that all these laws were passed. You know, I think it was probably in the 1920s. I mean, TFM talks about this a lot. When women got the right to vote, and they got rights, basically moved away from privileges. You know, without privileges, I think that's what the problem was. And once that happened, I think that was a huge issue. So yeah, I mean, it's just it's a challenge no matter what. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Question: of all your romantic relationships, were any of them worth the sacrifice and effort that you had to put into it? No, they weren't. Every one of them was riddled with dishonesty. You know, it was always about their drama. You know, it's always about their narcissism and everything else. And, you know, and I think that really at the end of the day, it's one of those scenarios where the juice isn't worth the squeeze, because the majority of the relationships that I was a part of occurred after second wave feminism took hold. So, yeah. B Boone asks, I'm sorry, Star Killer. Hold on. Let me see if I get another one here. Hold on. Kite the Dyke before Star Killer. I'm going to pause this here so I can actually catch these. There's a bunch of questions here. Kite the Dyke, in your opinion as a martial artist, do you think if I watch enough anime fights, I'll be able to survive the collapse? Oh, yeah, absolutely, Kite the Dyke. Absolutely. Given the high intellectual nature and value of your prior questions, yeah, you'll be just fine. In fact, you should never use weapons at all. If there's a collapse, just stare at them and just yell Kiop, and you should be good. Star Killer 439. I'm in community college, majoring in computer science. Do you know whether feminism has destroyed that field yet? My goal for the future is to become a programmer. If you're in computer science, you need to learn to learn. In other words, you need to constantly be learning to keep your skills updated and to keep them, to keep yourself in the market. And yeah, I mean, high tech is riddled with social justice warriors. I don't know if you've realized this or not, but like, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, they're all social justice cesspits. So, find a company to work for, lay low and don't draw fire, try to ghost in plain sight. People ask you if you're MGTOW, go, nah. If they ask you if you found a woman yet, no, I haven't found the right one. I just, leave it at that and avoid people. But yeah, I've worked at a tech company, and it's social justice cancer. B Boone question, wouldn't it be a good idea to wear a hidden video audio recorder at times? No, it wouldn't. There's a lot of anti-surveillance laws, and a lot of that's being criminalized. And if you look at a lot of TFM's videos, I'd have to say every couple videos we talk about that on the TFM show. TF Monkey, are bear traps gay? Only if they're Grizzly MGTOW's bear traps. So now you know. So all traps are gay. All traps are gay. Just so you know. Super gay. Power gay. Next question is from Rahel. The term social justice warriors was coined after keyboard warriors, which is a pejorative term to refer to guys. Okay, that's neat. Thank you for the update. I appreciate it. Real Human question. Miss Andrew today, TF Monkey, what do you disagree with TFM on? What is your reasoning? What's his? I've gone into this a bunch of times. TFM has gone into this. I mean, there was some stuff we disagreed on with the way the red pill coin thing has happened, and that whole fiasco there. There was some of the stuff we disagreed on. We've been pretty open about that, but I mean, it's not anything that's like, earth shattering or anything like that. It's not like TFM's like, hey, I'm going to go MGTOW. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be a blue pill cuck. I think that's great. I mean, if that were the case, I don't think we'd be friends anymore. So, yeah. So now you know. All right. Next question. Mech Warriors or Mech Commander? Oh, my God, Embudo. That's a hard one. I love Mech Warrior 3, and I love Mech Commander 2. So there you go. That's the best I can do for you. Oslo MGTOW, since you'll be hosting Sunrise Hoodie this Sunday, are you going to be, say, the Pimp's Prayer or the Lord's Prayer? Please don't put the poor boy on the spot. I'm probably actually going to be doing neither for this particular stream. I try to save the Pimp's Prayer for TFM streams, and then occasionally, do them on these. So it just really depends. We'll see. No promises yet. Yeah, but I don't think I would make him say it. I mean, it would be fucking hilarious, but I don't think I'll do that. That's just wrong. Question, DDJ, why do police hide evidence from courts for feminism? Well, it's because they have a fucking feminist department in every court. You have to understand that every police department, every courthouse has a feminist department. Their DV department is funded by feminism. So they have to be able to, have access to that. And the problem is that, most of the cases don't pass muster to criminally prosecute, so they just make this shit up. That's why you see, like, there'll be some feminist that'll be buried in a forensic lab somewhere, and she's just been basically faking evidence for like 10 fucking years and putting all these innocent people in jail. And then occasionally they'll catch her, and then they realize, oh, she's been talking shit this whole entire time, and she's been fixing cases, and then like 100 people go free, but all their lives are destroyed. I mean, it's retarded. The Nasty Alien. Do you like the Thought Patrol image I did? If you did the one that was the Thought Patrol for the Auto Thoughts, I think that was great. Yeah. Oh yes, we do fight over the little spoon. That's true. And, it's really kind of fucking hard because fucking TFM with all them fucking opposable thumbs on all 4 of his limbs, that's a bitch to fight. Plus he bites, fucker. So yeah. All right, let me get some more of these messages here. All right, Real Human Being, thoughts on Turd Flinging Monkey? How many times in your life have you encountered someone with his kind of personality and reasoning? I've actually encountered people with his personality and reasoning a lot. What I haven't encountered is someone with his level of ethics. And I think that the people, people misunderstand the value of ethics and the value of being able to critically think. One of the strengths that TFM has, and no TFM, I'm not sucking your dick here, so fuck you and fuck anybody who thinks that. One of the valuable things about TFM is that he has critical thinking skills. He has problem solving skills, and when he looks at problems, he looks at them free from emotional bias, at least for the most part. And that's absolutely important because sometimes shit happens in life, and you really have to look at it objectively, no matter what you prefer to think it would happen, or no matter how ugly the situation is. You have to be objective in order to, you wish, in order to solve the problem. That's the whole red pill thing. It's all about looking at problems, looking at them objectively, and then trying to come up with a solution without becoming so emotionally distraught that you just kind of shut down. The advantage of the Zen of zero fucks given is that it frees you. It's liberating because it allows you to see clearly, and you become like the eye of the storm when a bunch of stress and a bunch of bullshit happens. TFM has that ability, and it's very, very powerful, not just for him, but I mean for anybody who has it. And so having that ability is one thing, but on top of that, having TFM's level of ethics is something different. TFM will be the first person to hold somebody accountable for bad behavior, but if other people are trying to hold that person accountable for bad behavior and they're innocent, he'll be the first one to defend them. You don't run across people like that every day. Most people say they're red pill and they're not. They bought the t-shirt at the fucking Disney World and they're just like, look, it says I'm red pill on the t-shirt, so therefore I must be. And they're not. So, it is what it is. And the advantage is, again, it's about what people do. It's not about what they say. You need to reconcile what they say and what they do to determine, what kind of person they are. So yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Done yet?
Oh, yes.
Oh. Can't access Max yet. I'm kind of bummed about that.
Now, let's baptize her and roll the holy sled. I know just the place.
Yeah, exactly. It's about internal validation. It's not about external validation. And it's funny you mentioned that, TFM, because I'll tell you what, when I was fighting for custody of my kids and everything was fucking super rough, everybody was telling me to give up. And I mean, absolutely everybody. And, nobody supported me. I didn't have the emotional support I needed. I didn't have any of that. And it was very difficult. And if I didn't have that internal validation, I would have given up. Oh, Roseblades, listen to you. All right. Question, DDJ, what is a purple pill and pink pill if there is one? I don't know. I call them purple pill power bottoms, or because basically they're like the guys that act like they're red pill, but they're not. So, really, this fucker? All right. Kicking my ass here. Hold on. All right, let me get out of here.
Quick. That's the last of them.
We really should get back to my sanctum.
All right. Let's see here. Kite to Dyke. Actually, I prefer to delegate rather than porn. All right, next question. Yeah, TFM answers your purple pill question. I just think purple pill people are still cucks, so that's just me. Fair enough. So yeah, TFM says purple pill generally means PUA. I would agree with that. They're still thirsty as all hell. The ending of this game is really cucked as well. Speaking of cucks. You should. You should definitely go to the thing and stare at the corpse of his bachelorhood. Absolutely. All right. Question: do you cringe this day when you see the shit cucks do? Yeah, I do. I kind of shake my head because the shit that they see them do is ridiculous. I mean, they have no shame at all. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. Let's get this next question here. Hey, nasty alien. Looks like you're new here. All right. Real human. What do you think is a healthy way for men to get emotional support and reassurance? Can you reliably get it from women regardless of feminism? You know, I mean, women can be emotionally supportive, but they're only emotionally supportive to men that they care about and men that they are interested in. And the problem is that they're only interested in you if they can use you for something. So honestly, you'd be better served getting your emotional support from your male friends rather than a female friend. I mean, or a dog. Because again, because of gynocentrism, there's a huge threat in dealing with women. So I would definitely avoid them, at least from a close friendship standpoint. I think you can mitigate it. I mean, I know guys that have had long-term friendships with women, but they've known them for like 10 years, and they're not in any kind of emotional relationship with them as far as like anything that's potentially. Ooh, that guy hit me. Get in here. Give myself some space. All right. I'm an all-around kind of guy. It depends on the circumstances. I have different moods when it comes to real life. So, next question, Las Vegas MGTOW. Where do you see MGTOW in 5 years? Will it continue to grow? I don't see it as mainstream. I see society as kind of slow rolling to basically to the whole bullshit that's what's going on right now. Give me a second here. Trying to figure out how to fucking activate my Jimmy bar. Because I have one. It says Jimmy bar acquired, so maybe I gotta go here. Let's see here. I have it. Maybe it's a number.
Got a call for him
All
now.
right. You're fucking hilarious, TFM. All right. Yeah, I don't see MGTOW. I mean, I see it growing, but I see the unstated MGTOW community being larger than the regular MGTOW community. Ghost Slayer 100. Any advice about relationships for a guy that's about to head off to college? Yeah, don't get into one. Yeah, TFM. She's not going to be pegging me. So, sorry. I know you want to see the porn, but it's not going to happen. All right. B Boone question: if a man kills himself during a divorce and the woman has a job, does the state pay the woman's child support, or does she simply get no money? It's actually kind of funny. They're actually trying to make it so that does anybody know what fucking number this bar is? I thought the bar was like a number or a control here. They're actually trying to make it so that the husband's family pays for the kid. I know there was I'm just gonna do this. I know there was a court case recently where they're trying to get the grandparents in Canada to pay for the child support when the husband died. So, all All right, let's see. Next question here. Oswald MGTOW says, I don't know if anyone's asked this, but it's about the Russian memo recently released. I think it's just a strategy to keep Trump in office for a second term by regaining public trust and his courage to go against even the FBI and CIA. What do you think? No, I think they wanted to fuck him. I think they wanted to bend him over and fuck him with no dinner and no movie. And they were hoping that nobody would challenge their whole bullshit story on the whole Russian story. And it was challenged every step of the way. And this is what feminists do. If you look at the people that are behind it, they were all feminists and they were all cucks that were trying to do this. And they always lie, they're always full of shit, and they're always corrupt. That's the one thing that's consistent about feminists, always. So I think that it's just a question of, just they were trying to fuck him over and he called their bluff. He's like, yeah, fuck you. And now it's going to go bad against everybody and it's going to create more problems. But I think there's going to be some purges. And honestly, I don't think the Democrats have anybody to run against Trump for 2020. So I don't think that there's going to be a situation where he's going to have, he's going to fight, but I don't think that, I think we're going to see another term for Trump anyway, even before this. Question for Frickabag or whatever your name is, dude. With people going MGTOW in droves in the last 2 or 3 years, do you think MGTOW can change in a negative way because of all the new people who are in the red pill rage? I'm kind of noticing a slight change in the negative within the last year or so, but that could just be me. It's actually kind of funny. So there's a lot of people out there that in the last year or two. Now I've been MGTOW for more than a year, but I've only been active in the community since about April, since I was, first did the TFM show. And the problem is that you have, there's a group of PUAs that are in the MGTOW community who call themselves MGTOW, but they're PUAs. They're trying to co-opt the community to be PUAs. There are people who occasionally come to MGTOW and they want to use it for their own purposes. And, I don't necessarily think that's a good thing, but I think it is what it is. I think what happens is that you get these people out there that will go in and they will try to do their own program, or they've got their own ulterior motive. And so they kind of paint MGTOW with that. But the thing about MGTOW, what people forget is MGTOW is not a collectivist organization. We're kind of a community of individuals. And so what somebody does, unless they're preying on the community, it's kind of irrelevant. I do believe that there was a group of people who were trying to paint MGTOW as racists, and I did a video about it called Ghosting the Rahowa. But I think that when you look at those people and you call those people out, once you call them on their bullshit, they go the fuck away. So, look, when shit hits the fan and shit gets rough and people start bad-mouthing MGTOW, fucking ghost and go tell them to go play hide and go fuck themselves. Because you know what's going to happen is you're going to get these dipshits that are going to be out here and they're going to be like, oh, MGTOW's this and MGTOW's that. Or, you get some power dipshit that's like MGTOW's a war. They're going to stand out in fucking plain sight. Everybody's going to roll them over, beat the hell out of them or do whatever to them. And I'm talking metaphorically speaking. And you're going to be ghosted. You're going to lay low. You're not going to draw fire. You're going to be like, wow, that looked like it was painful. I'm glad I wasn't there. And you're going to go on with your life. It's not going to matter. So I wouldn't worry about what non-MGTOW think of MGTOW. Practice is end of zero fucks given. Keep doing you. And, we'll all get through it just fine. Real human being, Miss Andrew today, what do you think of the average breaking point is for men denied emotional support and reassurance? I think it's really low, actually. Men do better with emotional support. And one of the common things, I don't know, I don't know how many people are here or what your background, everybody's background is, but one of the first MGTOW sites that I found, or the first MGTOW I found, was MGTOW.com. And the thing that I found that was interesting is that there were all these men who did their there's a little introduction forum there, and they all were like, holy shit, I'm home, or I was alone, or I didn't have the support I needed, or, I can't believe that this is bigger than I thought it was. That happens all the time. Men have a very low breaking point, just like everybody else. We all need emotional support. We don't necessarily need somebody to hold our dick or to fucking hold our spine for us, but we definitely need to have that emotional support that's there. We don't need a lot. We just need some. And we need to know that we're not alone. Because real men anyway, use logic, reason, and facts in order to get through life and to get through their day. So I think that without that, I mean, everybody crumbles. I mean, look at these women. Look at look at these women. These feminists are like, destroy your relationship, ride the cock carousel, and do all these things. These women get 40 and they go batshit crazy. Some of them even go crazy at fucking 30. The second that they start approaching the wall, they're going crazy. They're alone. They're angry. They're depressed. They've got all these other issues. It's because they can't function by themselves. Feminism is hurting women as well. So, yeah, I mean, we all need emotional support and reassurance occasionally. Question. Are you afraid of burning out because of all these shows and concepts that you are producing as well as TFM, or content you are producing as well as TFM? To be honest, although I am enjoying your shows to the max, I worry that sometimes you are overdoing it. Prior to being MGTOW, I never worked 40 hours a week. I always worked more. And there were times where either my job kept me 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and there were other times I was carrying 2 jobs at 70 to 80 hours a week. So, and then on top of that, I was maintaining an emotional relationship. I don't have to worry about that anymore. My youngest son is now 18, so I have a lot of freedom that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I do take breaks occasionally, just to kind of relax and to kind of make sure that I have a balance. I do turn the computer off. I do have a life outside of this a little bit just to do that. I mean, but it does take a lot of time, so I appreciate it. Jesus Christ, fucking TFM. So, no, I'm not singing the song. Sorry. All right, nasty alien question. I'm in Switzerland, and I would like to ask if you know if laws are better than America or anything else. I think Switzerland is kind of cucked because you're kind of socialist over there. But I think if you came to the United States, you'd have a little bit of cultural shock because of the way things operate over here. But I think you'd get used to it pretty quickly. But I think the laws are better here. And I would say that as far as like feminism is concerned, I've looked around a little bit and I've done some shows with people about feminism in different countries, and I think the laws of the United States are better than almost any other country that's adopted feminism. All right, Real Human Being and TFM Monkey. With anti-feminism now gaining popularity with women, do you think the gender relations will return to normal? Will men forgive women of their transgressions? Will MGTOW die down if they do? So the MRA movement is dead. And feminists infiltrated the MRA movement and then killed it. Well, now there's a group of traditionalists and people out there that are like claiming to be anti-feminists, but the reality is they're just feminists in disguise. So, they're cosplaying as anti-feminists and they're cosplaying as MRAs. And if you've seen like I had a conversation with Poe the Person, in the middle of the stream, Oslo pointed out she admitted to cheating on her husband. I did a stream with Barbara. Barbara for you to see. Barbara, she understood she had female privilege, even though she's an anti-feminist and didn't want to give up her privileges, didn't want to give up, her unearned right to vote. But she also said, which was funny, was that if somebody gave her the pimp hand and they took women's rights away, she'd just go along with it. She'd be like, yeah, I guess that sucks. And she'd be like, jump right in line. So, yeah, I mean, that's the issue there. I think that a lot of this anti-feminist bullshit, I don't think it's going to die down. I think it's actually going to increase. You're going to start seeing, we're seeing droves of women heading to MGTOW right now because the MGTOW men, the actual MGTOW men, are more red-pilled than most. So, there you go. All right. Next question from Fricka. I'm just going to call you Fricka Bag. All right, here it is. It seems that Sweden is not slowing down on its feminism at all. They keep on digging down, and at this point, they keep on reinventing the bottom. How much worse do you think things will get? And the specifics, like what to expect, are more than welcome. Thank you for your replies. I think that I think the thing with Sweden is Sweden's fucked. They're already in an armed insurgency right now. If you watched the TFM show recently, we've talked about it. The news is starting to report on it. There's an arms pipeline to Sweden right now, and the migrants are purchasing illegal arms. And I'm not talking like pistols. I'm talking AK-47s and rifles. They have no-go zones. They control portions of the city, and they're enforcing Sharia law. And Sweden's just like, gee, I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we should just let them ass rape us in the name of diversity. It's retarded. So I think Sweden's fucked. I think they're terminal. So, and I think it's going to get a lot worse and people are going to die. Europe's not going to do shit about it. All right. Next question. Anybody got any other questions? Well, apparently there's a mission in there I missed because I just decided I wanted to drive around. All right. Well, it looks like we're good here. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I was available to answer people's questions if you had some. Appreciate everybody kind of tuning in. I know it's kind of an impromptu sort of stream. Again, the TFM show is going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My show is going to be Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do I like cola-flavored gum candy? No. No, I don't. So, yeah, and also I wanted to make sure everybody was also aware too. I really appreciate everybody's support. You know, I know that I've been in some controversies recently, and I appreciate people's willingness to look at logic, reason, and facts, and I appreciate the red pill portion of the MGTOW community's ability to avoid being a Me Too cuck and verifying the truth for themselves. So, thank you. God, which clan? You know, it's in Budo. God, it's been so long since I played. I don't remember the clans anymore. But I did like clan mechs. So, who did you vote for in RGE's Mangina of the Year? I haven't voted yet. Is it gay if the balls don't touch? Yes. All right. So those are the questions. So obviously these are extremely important questions. So hopefully I've answered them to your satisfaction. And with that, I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I am going to stop the stream now. And then, yes, Oslo, if you're still listening, I'll go ahead and upload this stream as kind of a casual gaming stream if you want to do a table of contents for it. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.